Uh, Very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the Fireside Chat Show of the MBA Department of Swami Vivekananda Group of Institutes. Today, our guest of honor is Dr. Shubhrangshu Sharnal. Shubhrangshu Sharnal is the CEO of the IIM Calcutta Innovation Park. Dr. Sharnal has a rich experience in process and system consulting in the banking and financial service domain. Dr. Sharnal is a mechanical engineer from Jadavpur University and an alumnus of IIM Calcutta and completed his PhD from National Law University, Jodhpur. So it is our privilege to have Dr. Sharnal at our show. So welcome Dr. Sharnal to our Fireside Chat Show of the MBA department.
Thank you.
As sir, today our topic of discussion is the impact of this COVID-19 and related pandemic on the startup and the startup ecosystem. So based on that only, I have developed some questions, which can be beneficial for the startup ecosystem, startup founder, as well as for the students. So I was just reading through some of the articles where it was showing that those startups are getting funding right now or doing or flourishing right now, who are providing services like communicating from home, shopping from home, or education from home. So these are the few startups who are flourishing at this moment. So I just want to know your take on that or your point of view on that.
Yes, whatever you are reading or what you have said just now. Yes, definitely there are some startups who are trying to convert this at this challenge as an opportunity and trying to provide solutions around that. So those startups definitely are still having a cash flow because the business opportunities have also grown in those segments. Specifically, the digital way of life we are talking about. So the digital way of life, we have no choice but we need to adopt that, and that has given a big boost to those kind of solutions. But having said that, overall the picture is not so good. Specifically for startups which has brick and mortar, they have a manufacturing setup. Even we are talking about tourism, hospitality,
right,
food segment. Overall, the stories I would say is not so good because of the lockdown, the change in consumer behavior.
right.
These startups are mostly suffering. They cannot get raw material. They cannot ship their finished products. The cash flow is stuck. Customers are not willing to pay. Production has come to a halt because they cannot run their shops. So multiple problems, and again there are a few reports which are saying that a majority of these startups, like more than 50% of the startups, have a runway of maximum 3 months. That means they can sustain maximum 3 months with the cash flow they have. So overall, the story is not so rosy.
Right. Right. So overall, yeah, that is a fact. Even the big corporate houses are not able to cope it up with. So they have also go for this salary cut or the termination, etc. So startup are definitely are finding it much more difficulty because of the shortage of the cash flow specifically. So that's true, sir. So from my next question would be, sir, we are seeing that many companies like this Wow Momo or the Swiggy or the Zomato, Paytm Mall, they are all even this Geo Mart actually entering into the business of this grocery delivery or the essential item delivery business. So do you think that is it becoming a clutter or the overcrowded market, or there is a need because of the demand supply gap?
So see, this lockdown triggered new set of needs, and if you have observed that there are two kinds of needs. One category is essential needs, the other category is good to have needs. Okay,
right.
So during this phase, challenging phase, the consumers have actually compromised on the good to have kind of needs, and
Right.
but the essential needs you need to satisfy, right? Roti, kapra, makan, the basic needs you need to satisfy. The
Right.
healthcare needs, the education needs you need to satisfy. So earlier there was a large uh, chunk of consumers who still or who relied on the brick and mortar or the physical mode. Now those consumers also don't have a choice now because there are restrictions in moving out, going to the market and all.
Right.
So definitely a gap was created, and the new players emerged to fulfill the gap. But having said that, there is another reason which triggered that. So these companies already have a set workforce.
Right.
Okay. Now, one option is you need to lay off this workforce. The other option is you retain as many as possible by giving them some alternative opportunity.
True. Right.
So it's more driven by that, I think, rather than thinking about a new business model, that I have people who can deliver. Okay, I have shops in almost all locality. So how can I leverage that to serve some of the essentials? That way, my business also keeps on running to
Right.
some extent. That is also another motivation. I'm not sure whether they really have the intention to get into the essentials delivery in the future or not once things get normal.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that is a new point actually. Probably in order to utilizing their existing manpower, they are venturing into some other business avenue. That is a possibility. Actually.
Right.
Right. Right. So as there are a lot of engineering and the management students every year they are eyeing for getting into the startup domain. So what would be your suggestion towards them right now? I mean, for the fresher engineering and management student, those who are thinking for getting into, starting their something of their own.
Yeah. I think from this experience, when a lot of I don't know about your institute, Amitabh, but generally the students have suffered also, like the internship offers, the placement offers. I think all over students have suffered.
Right, true.
And you can't help because the industry is not operating. So it is like that. And maybe not only this year, next year also probably we'll see the effect. And I hope that it doesn't get extended further, okay? Because it's a big impact on the global economy.
Right.
So earlier, the concept of I do engineering and I have a job guaranteed, that concept no longer is valid, at least in the short run. Okay.
Right.
So now for students who always wanted to get into startups but couldn't do it for various reasons, I think one strong reason is that if you have the option of getting to a job, okay, why would you lose that offer?
Right.
And there is a tremendous pressure from parents that you are getting a good offer from an IT company which is paying you, let's say, whatever, 10 lakhs per year kind of salary. I mean, why do you join, do a startup or join a startup where the income itself is uncertain?
Right.
So it was a very strong reasoning against going for a startup. It's a typical social angle. But now, the assurance of job not being there because of market reasons, I don't think the institutes have any role to play here.
Right.
Even if you try your best, still market will not support that. So now the students, if they want to offer something by their own, I don't think the parents would mind that much because they know anyway this guy is going to see title.
Right. True.
And maybe having your own future in your hand, trying it out, that might be emerging out as a better option now.
True.
Because now you are more control about your destiny if you are trying to do something. So, I am always optimistic. I think that this challenge from a job market perspective might actually propel entrepreneurship, at least compared to what was happening till date,
Right.
it will do it in a much better way. And
Right.
I think the students who really want to do it and couldn't do it because of social pressure,
Mm-hmm.
I think they would now go ahead without any hesitation.
Right. 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 So yes, yeah, you are rightly saying that. Yeah, that is an opportunity actually. Those who are really interested to carry on their ideas in the startup field, so that is a good opportunity because the social pressure would be less.
Another point I want to add here, Amitabh. Now, you have said that it's not only the small businesses, even the big corporates are suffering, right?
Right.
Everybody is trying to cope up with the so-called new normal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody knows what the new normal is.
Yes.
It's
Right.
only going to be set up. So now, if somebody is trying to, the old players or people who have been there in the market, everybody suffered. You
Right.
spoke about Swiggy, Wow Momo, or all those examples.
Mm-hmm.
Why they were forced into doing all those things, right? And we know, the big unicorns like Uber and all, they are doing layoff, right? So because
Right.
they also don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to cope up with this. So as a starter, you are also
Right.
almost on the same platform.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very funny situation where your situation is not worse than many existing players.
True.
They need to reinvent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually are on a very level playground now.
Mm-hmm.
You must utilize.
True. True. Right, sir. So as students always wanted to know different kind of success stories of the startup. So it would be great if you can just share just few stories who are doing well during this period as well. They may be from IIM Calcutta Innovation Park as well. So it would be great if you can share some stories.
Yeah, typically what you have seen, the startups who focused on the essential services or the
Mm-hmm.
essential needs of customers, they have
Right.
still continued more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the cash flow has reduced, but it has not stopped.
Right.
On the other hand, there are some startups who also they are agile, means
Mm-hmm.
they identified opportunities and quickly pivoted to capture those opportunities, grab those opportunities, and develop a solution to satisfy the needs of the customer. So there are two categories of customers.
Right.
So I'll give you a couple of examples from Kolkata itself. So we have one startup by the name Driver Shop. Driver
Diverse shop.
Shop is into supplying drivers
Mm-hmm.
primarily to B2B, where businesses needed drivers.
Mm-hmm.
They used to supply. So they had a decent track record. But COVID actually got a lot of other challenges because the businesses itself are not operating, many of them.
Right.
But a new opportunity opened up. See, the delivery of essential items,
Mm-hmm.
that was not happening because even the Swiggy's and Zomato and the big baskets of the world struggled to get
Right.
drivers.
True.
Even the offline stores like a Big Bazaar or Metro Cash and Carry, who never had a big delivery fleet, they also suffered because the orders were there. People need food, but they don't know how to deliver it.
Right.
So here, this guy came up, and those driver partners actually volunteered to work, okay,
Mm-hmm.
taking all the precautions and all. So they actually are helping the businesses to whatever minimum delivery is possible. They have been helping them. So his business actually didn't stop
Okay.
because it was an essential need, logistics.
Right.
That is one. The other example is there is another startup who uh, was into a very different kind of work. So he was uh, into inflatable technology. So he had a material which uh, which he used for various kind of products like aquaculture,
Mm-hmm.
biogas, and all. But
Mm-hmm.
then this COVID pandemic, the need of PPE kits
Right.
there was a huge need, right?
Mhm.
And following the WHO guidelines, so there are a lot of PPE kits which are actually good for nothing, just like
True.
raincoats, right?
Mm.
But actual PPE kits which are needed by the medical professionals, it needs to be of certain standard. So he actually collaborated with a few other startups where he used his material, which has all the properties recommended by WHO, and they used a specific coating on the material, to which he claims that if the virus comes in contact with the PPE kit, it will die. I mean, the virus will be
Okay.
killed because there is some nanoparticles which get released from that coating. As soon
Mhm.
as the virus gets in contact with your PPE kit, so that's an amazing solution for medical professionals. So he has
Right.
started selling it, and the good thing what he has done, he has leveraged those workers who were into textile industry, weaving, sewing, and all.
Right.
They
Right.
didn't have a job, so
Uh-huh.
he actually leveraged thousands of those people to do
Okay.
this cutting and sewing and all,
Uh,
tailoring and all, to make those PPE kits. So this is one good example how you can leverage the opportunity.
right.
Then there's one big startup. He's gone very big, based out of Bihar, called Dehat. So they have this platform, technology platform, through which they support the farmers to
Mhm.
procure the inputs, include seed, fertilizer, and all those, gives advisories, and also helps the farmer to sell their products.
Okay.
So he aggregates and he sells it to large corporates who need those, right? So you know that the farming was not disrupted, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
I mean there were crops in the on the field. And the problem was that how to sell, why to sell. So this startup knows through its platform that who has ready products to be sold, and even the corporates had problems now because the supply chain was broken.
Right.
So he took bulk requirements from the corporate, and he knew which farmer has what, and
Right.
started. And this he does anyway, but then this thing continued
Mhm.
because it's an essential products, and he benefited both the farmers and the corporate. I mean, the cycle keeps on rolling. So these are few examples of startups continuing their activities
Mhm.
and doing something different.
Right. Thank you, sir, for.
Other than
Uh,
that, there are a lot of startups who started manufacturing masks and protective
right.
and all. So we know startups who have been working with artisans.
Mhm.
So now they thought that using the same skills and design, so we have a startup based out of Assam who used to work with these rural weavers and artisans.
Mhm.
In Assam, there is a traditional attire called gamusa. Gamusa is like like a like Ongo Vastro kind of thing. It's
Okay. Okay.
like a
Okay.
you
Uh-huh.
use it like a small shawl kind of, not even a
Uh-huh.
shawl. Okay. So it's a nice look. If you look at any traditional Assamese, they will have this gamusa
Uh-huh.
around their neck, like that. And it's a nice design. So what
Mhm.
they did, they have produced a lot of gamusas, but it, they couldn't sell it because
Sell
of
it.
the
Right.
lockdown. So they
Mhm.
converted those gamusas into masks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
very
Great.
nice looking
Uh-huh.
designer masks.
Acha.
So they converted, and that got sold out, right?
Mhm.
So there are a lot of interesting stories.
Right. Right. Thank you, sir. And I know I can share one example actually from my locality. I have identified that one of the company whose name was narodmuni.com. So
Mm.
they used to deliver flowers and all the puja essentials for the local housings actually. Now, due to this lockdown, that suddenly the flower business got stopped. Actually, they could not arrange flowers. Now they have converted into daily essentials delivery. Now their business have gone up to 100 times because they used to have a business per household 10 rupees per day. Now they are having on an average business of 500 rupees 600 rupees per
Mm.
household actually.
Yeah.
And so they have to include more manpower, logistics supply, but they are successful. Now we have to request them that when you are going to start your flower business, because now that flower business has become secondary towards them because they are doing very well in this area. in this area, because during the lockdown period, this Big Basket or the Grofers was a little bit
Yes.
failure because of the logistics issues, but they have been able to deliver locally. So that's why in the local level they are become popular actually. So they have changed their business and they are doing well. Sir, my next question would be, it would be great, a lot of people are having an aspiration to get into incubation center like yours, like IIM Calcutta Incubation Park. So it would be great that if you can just tell the students that how they can approach, what is the process they should follow.
Yeah, see, incubation is a very serious business. Okay, incubation needs a lot of effort from our side.
Right.
So the objective of incubation is get any solution commercialized. And you understand that is not easy. It needs a lot of intense mentoring and support. So the first thing that we look at it is the startup ready for incubation. Okay. So when I say ready for incubation means you have done some serious work. Okay.
Right.
Because we are going to work with you. We are going to put in effort to take your business to the next level or take your idea to the next level. We expect that you come up with, at least you have put enough effort so that we can actually take you there. Okay.
Right.
So first thing is that that's the reason we don't take just idea stage startups. You need to prove that you need to come up with a proof of concept or a working prototype, okay, to show that yes, you are serious and you have done something to it, and we also get a confidence about the solution that you are doing. Number one,
right.
And the other aspects, and second thing is that which is most important actually, that the entrepreneur is committed, the entrepreneur is full time, and the entrepreneur is willing to put enough effort to take this forward. These are very important for us as an entry criteria. But having said that, when we evaluate the proposal, we look at the other aspects which any business plan would look at. For example, is it a real opportunity, a big opportunity? Does it have a proper revenue model? So all those aspects definitely we do it. But the entry criteria is that it must have a working model or a prototype.
Right.
A working prototype. So the proof of concept is there.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for sharing that, sir. Probably it is definitely going to helpful for the students who are eyeing for getting into the incubation center like yours. So definitely that will help them out. Sir, as you are from this incubation center or the startup ecosystem, so what do you think that what is the role of this kind of incubation centers in developing or rather improving the economic downturn?
See, these incubation centers, there are various kinds of incubation centers.
Right.
So don't assume that all incubation centers are same. So in India, if you add all the incubation centers, acceleration centers, co-working spaces, I think it will be more than 500 easily. So that means that all 500 cannot be same. So different incubation centers have different objectives. So primarily the incubation centers are set up to promote innovation and support innovative work. Okay, somebody is trying to solve a problem in a unique way, in a new way, leveraging some kind of technology which is new to this ecosystem or new to the world or whatever, or something very significant improvement to something existing. So, and they don't get support. Nobody will give them money or whatever. So these incubation centers actually take this innovation, work with the entrepreneur to take them to a level where they can run by their own.
Right.
That is the objective of any incubation center. But having said that, there are various flavors. Some incubation centers are focused on specific domains. For example, we have incubation centers focused on agriculture, okay, focused on deep tech, okay, focused on IT, uh, and some incubation centers like ours are agnostic, generic. Some are on biotech, okay. So as a startup, when you need support, you need to look at that what support you need and identify the right incubator.
Right.
If you have a solution which is very much technology intensive, like a biotech or deep, like a robotics, AI kind of thing, then you should look at the incubator which has specializes in that.
Right.
And we have a very specific focus which not many incubators in India uh, does. That is, we work as an ecosystem builder. Means specifically the east and northeast, entrepreneurship culture is not so evident, right? Though
Right.
people
Right.
have talent, but not many entrepreneurs. So here, the ecosystem was not so vibrant. Now it has picked up. It is slowly getting mature. So we work a lot with the states to set up the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Probably you will remember, Amitabh, we did a very interesting experiment with this Egiye Bangla,
True. Right.
which was probably the first of its kind in India. And I don't think any incubator has done this kind of work earlier.
Right.
And you know the impact of this kind of work, right?
Right.
So we keep on doing all these kind of activities where we motivate the youth to take up. And we have seen wonderful success out of this small experiment, which is a TV reality show on entrepreneurship. And since you remember that, I'm happy to share with you that out of the 40 finalists
Right.
who pitched in front of the camera, I think half of them are still surviving. They're still in business. So that's and that's almost 4 years plus now.
True.
Right.
Right.
So look at a global statistics and tell me, why do you find a 50% success rate for startups?
True.
So that is what is what we try to do.
Right. Right. Right, definitely that is a very big success actually. I was also part of it, so I know that I am in till touch with some of them, so they are doing really well. So my last question to you, sir, that what would be your suggestion to the educational institute like us to promote the entrepreneurship culture at the institute?
Yeah, see, entrepreneurship culture is a big word. Okay, now whether a student will take up entrepreneurship or not, we should not force anything. Let it be a educated decision. Okay.
Right.
So as an institute, I mean, you cannot say, okay, today we are starting a program where we want students to be entrepreneurs. It doesn't happen that way. It's a mindset issue, and there are a lot of other factors. Right. But as an institute, what you can do and you must do is to help them to influence their thought process. Because see, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is actually identifying problems and solving those problems.
Right.
With leveraging technology or knowledge or skill set, whatever you have, right? The essential part of it is actually problem solving. And also understanding that how I can make money by solving the problem. These are the two simple things. So the very first thing that the student should be exposed to is this problem solving kind of exposure.
Right.
And connected to that would be also some understanding of business. Not necessary that you need to start your business. Okay. But this experience, this exposure, first to identify the problem, second to solve the problem using some technology, some technique, and maybe learning to sell something.
Right. True.
So these are the skills or experience if a student gets while they are with your institute,
Mhm.
then the student can decide whether I'm enjoying this.
Mhm.
If I'm enjoying this, I'm loving this, then maybe something I would like to do.
Right.
Or if the student said, no, this is not my cup of tea. See, entrepreneurship is not everybody's cup of tea.
True. Mm.
Some students might think, no, this is too much for me. I'm quite happy with that. So let it be. But at least you have given them the exposure.
Right.
You have tried to create that kind of capability.
Mhm.
So with that capability, somebody can be a very good corporate executive, because
True.
corporate also needs entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurial, right?
Yes, so corporates actually prefer those kind of students.
True.
And students who think that they want to take it forward, they want to try entrepreneurship. So then comes the next level of support, which I think as an institute you should have some structured offering for the student, that okay, if you want to do it, maybe I'll give you a small seed fund, okay,
Right.
or maybe I'll do all these connects, and try to create at least a few role models.
Mhm.
So if there are two successful student entrepreneurs from
Right.
this batch, the next batch you don't need to do anything. Those two entrepreneurs would actually motivate others.
That's right. True.
But having
Yes.
said that, entrepreneurship as a mass movement, I mean, don't try to do everything as a mass movement.
Mhm.
Okay? Do the essential stuff. Now let the beneficiary identify whether they would like to continue with that, or they would like to do something else leveraging the skill set. So at least this minimum thing, I strongly recommend that your institute
Mhm.
start doing it as part of your curriculum,
Curriculum,
or
right?
as part of your overall process,
Mhm.
instead of doing only academic activities. Like
Mhm.
something hands-on also be included in your overall curriculum, and that you can do without spending money, without any effort, and not forcing anybody. It's just
Mhm.
like any other exposure.
Right. Right. Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your time and explanation on different aspect. And definitely, sir, after this lockdown is over, it would be great if you can take some time out to come to our campus to meet our students someday. So it would be so nice of you. So again, thank you so much from the MBA department of Swami Vivekananda Group of Institutes for being a part of this Fireside Chat Show series that we have started recently. So again, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Amitabh. Stay safe, and I wish that things get normal soon, and the
Right.
students also uh, become, productive and active very soon. Thank you
Right.
so much.
Thank you for
Okay,
your
bye.
ending. Bye, sir.